Hey, welcome to another dinosaur hunting video. If this program looks familiar, you may have watched my video. I cannot believe it's a month ago at this point. It's late August now. It was late July, which means it was probably about mid July when I got my game in and first got into Greed Explorer and realized that these files could be edited. Now that I've spent a month editing the game, recording the game, playing the game, documenting the game, finishing the game. Uh, I wanted to come back to this, not so much to point out now like what I've done, but to point out some of the things that are in these files that now I realize are not in the final game. So this is sort of like cutting room floor kind of video here. There's a few of these tile sets that I wanted to go through. This is our the ranking screen at the end of each mission. So there's a file up here with the little icons for each of the main dinosaurs, and then it would go through. It would display each one for a specific stage, and if you missed them, it would put an X over it. It says successful capture primary target at the top. You'd get a ranking. It would show the pictures of Malone, Gene, Gregory, and then it would say first, second, third, fourth. But the one thing, two files that aren't used, there's this background image here that's like an arsenal of all of that's like the most peaceful arsenal I've ever seen. It's all tranquilizing rounds. I don't remember seeing that in the actual game. And then there's this little certificate, like one you'd get at school or something. Most improved hunter or something. I don't know where this would have shown up at. I haven't done anything yet. This might just be leftover from the way they were going to have the ranking screen laid out. Like this might have been the S, A, B, C, D rankings might have shown up there. So you could see like those seals superimposed over this, and then maybe the targets and stuff. And then in the end, they just went with the Arc Foundation flag in the background. That's what actually appears in the game. The thing that I was most surprised by was this X mission. So up here you can see where it says extra mission. I thought these were additional missions or something that would unlock like on a harder difficulty. I was looking at this going like, oh my gosh, is this like specifically get a mouth shot on one of these dinosaurs and it'll unlock? Here's like obviously the number of them in the game, and you can get gold, silver, or bronze rankings on them all. What I finally realized is that this would have been another menu in the game. Let me jump over, pardon me, to Photoshop. Make sure that still appears on the screen here. So this is the actual character select screen in the game. This is the actual dinosaur viewer in the game. This is the stage select in the game with some of our A ranks that we've gotten in some of the previous videos. This is the movie screen in the game. So what I did was take these few assets here. There's really the title, the emblems, and then this number layout. And then, of course, the little card for what would have been each of the X missions. And I kind of laid out my own. Let me see what ones I need to turn off here. Turn those off. So this might be what that X mission screen would have looked like. And this would be just like you can play through the stages again. You can watch the cutscenes. You can view the dinosaurs. This would have been the QuickTime event stuff. So where you're on the hunt for the cave lion, tranquilize the cave lion before Gregory takes it down. And I kind of recreated all of this stuff here. I kind of spent maybe way too much time on it. So if we went to 7, if you scroll down to 7, it'd be the Carnotaur one. So this is, I believe this is like run away from the Carnotaurs. That's the one mini game before you go into stage 7 where you're actually fighting them. And then I imagine down here, I took this text from the movie player screen because I figured it would be sort of similar. Um, it'd be, just some quick text like Malone escapes from the Carnivores. Um, and I guess depending on how fast you do it, or if you do it in one shot or something, you would have gotten a gold, silver, or bronze medal on it. Um, I imagine that they abandoned this menu because maybe in testing or maybe early on, they just realized like not that many people want to play like a 15-second mini game, especially that takes loading in and loading out every time. So I think they abandoned that concept of this extra mission menu, but it's really cool to see the other like the little cards here. Let me just go through each of the ones I put in here. They're not the highest quality. You didn't really rip them out and do anything with them, but it's really cool to see them. They at least like made a graphic for each of the QuickTime events. I love that one. I'm gonna get trading cards made up, and this will be the one that everybody gets duplicates of. So Carnotaurs, there was run from the Carnotaurs and then shoot the Carnotaur tank. So that was actually stage 5, right? After the Baryonyx. Cave Lion. One of these is, I think both of these are just called Defeat Deinonychus. So I, wanted to take the little handful of graphics, like really, this is all the graphics that I had to go on and kind of daydreamed up this screen, like how it might have been laid out. Didn't have a whole lot to go on. So that was the extra mission. I'm kind of bummed that it didn't turn out to be like an actual secret, like extra difficult missions for each of the stages, but it makes sense and it's kind of cool. It's on the disc. It's on here. I don't know that it's actually hiding in the game anywhere. Let's see. Load and save had so we have like the little thumbnails for each of the stages. So there's stage 1, stage 2, where this is the peninsula. Stage 3 was the big cave. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and stage 11, the cave. But there's this one, which just appears to be like the sky or heaven. I don't know. And then this one, which I hope nobody ever ran into, just says damaged game file. And then there are these two. These are actually backgrounds from 2 of the loading screens. No, not these. We'll have to get into another menu. I just wondered, like, if they had a purpose or if there are other stages for these 2 that they had in mind. This looks like stage 11. Could be an alternate stage 11 loading icon. This is the landing, and there's Rhamphorhynchus flying around, and you basically just start and run right into that cave. This one I'm not too sure about. Still, where that would have fit into things. On the prepare screen, this was another one I had pointed out in the beginning when I did my original video before I really got back into the game, because I did not remember this kind of icon and then these 3 different rifle round types. So it looks like they may have been designing like a concept of using different rifle types on different kinds of dinosaurs. You could imagine this being like an armor piercing one, and I don't really know what the difference between these 2 would be, or maybe they just designed a bunch of different. They said, art guy, what would tranquilizing rifle rounds look like that aren't, the typical fuzzy end on it like you see in movies, and maybe these were just alternate versions of it, or maybe they had a whole other like a 3-level system in mind, and the in-game economy would be a little different. You'd have to buy certain types of rounds, and I think item select goes along with that too. With our diluent, condensate, and magnolium. This actually, I need to jump out to a different file. So we had these 3 icons, and then I think it's in, where did I put it? Sprite and search. It's in one of these. So these are like the icons when you pick up the voice plate, when you pick up the different ammo types. But then there were these Diluent, Condensate, red, green, and blue ingredient, and then Magnolian. So and then the recovery medicine. This one I got really hung up on because I remembered the Magnolia featuring into the game somehow. But it looks like they were actually going to work it in as something you picked up in the game or something you found in the game. And then Condensate and Diluent, I imagine you would use those if you had already made a dart. You could have separated it back into red, green, and blue ingredients, or it might have been you make a dart for the formula and then you have to like condense it and make it more potent, or you have to water it down and dilute it, make it lighter or something. They may have had another system in mind for like another layer of difficulty. And maybe that would have popped up only on very hard difficulty or something like that. But the menu makes, or the manual makes no mention of these other systems. So I don't think it's something I haven't seen in the game. I think it's something they had in mind, far enough along that they had the artist do these graphics for it and get them in line with like the red, green, and blue, which you see a lot in the game. So that was those. Let me get back to the screen here. Prepare is where we were with the different rifle types. The stage select. Oh, yeah. I actually meant to go load up the game before I recorded this video. I don't think watch demo, tutorial, and unknown. I think unknown might show up if you come into the stage select before you finish the game. But I don't think there's a concept of watch demo on those on the stage select menu. If there were, they would have been elsewhere on the disk as video files, and I think we would have found that already. I would have a separate video with whatever the demo would be. I highly doubt it's like an emulator playthrough of the game that you're gonna sit and watch, the computer run through the game. We're just now getting into that kind of thing. I think I pointed this out in July. The biggest bummer, the most exciting thing, and then almost the most immediate bummer was seeing that there is a menu with a language select, and obviously Japanese, and then English right below it. We were so close. Like they knew that they would probably get the game released outside of Japan, probably with Microsoft's involvement, since Microsoft published it in Japan. And then I guess they ended up passing on it for whatever reason. And it didn't happen. But they had it in mind that there would be an English version of the game. And of course, an English version of the game exists, but as far as I know, it is not dumped on the internet. And then duplicates of these same icons here. I think that was all in this file. I just don't need to make a video of those Xbox demos, even though the video of like True Fantasy Live Online has the least views out of all of my dinosaur hunting videos. Title, language, and then we have the search objects, which are back here, I think. Yeah, there's our mini games. So the search objects, these are all things in the game that you run up to, or that you could run up to and interact with. This is that satchel that we see in a lot of stages, the crates that are always sitting out, the burlap sack that I think says Mylar original. I'm not sure. There's some bones. I believe this is an egg and a nest. Some other rocks and things. Poop. The eaten fish. I don't think these show up in the game. The ammo or the health pickups, like the regular and full, especially this one saying standard being apparently the full health pickup. I don't remember seeing any boxes or any boxes of ammo sitting around, but they made textures for them. They might actually be in the background in some of the cutscenes. These cases do they always have these guys, the red, blue, and green ingredients in them. So the cases are there. They never modeled the little vials, which honestly would be very tiny. There's a texture for a single bullet. Like I don't think you're going to run around and pick up single bullets in an original Xbox game. It'd just be lost in the kind of muddy geometry. Rocks, waterbed, teeth, dead Pelicanomimus, Baryonyx's leftovers. This map is kind of interesting. I don't know where it came from, where it fits in the game. This kind of looks like maybe it's a layout of a museum. Trilobite, a couple leg bones. But of course, you can't zoom in and see any of that. Where were we at? 41. It always loses track over here. I don't remember seeing this capture file, at least not in this form. I think this might actually have gotten folded in half. There's a drinking glass. Let's see. What were some? I think there's a couple more in here. There's the dead T-Rex's head textures towards the end of the game. The nuts and berries of the what is it? The Stygimoloch. I don't remember seeing an actual like a 3D model of the voice plate container sitting in the game. I feel like it was a 2D sprite. Oop, and now I'm clicked into it. 78. So that one's kind of interesting. There's some of these dead dinosaurs probably didn't get used in the end. There's the tattered tent. Jean, Katie, Stygimoloch, a lot of dead dinosaurs. Here we go. These are the textures that load in every cutscene. So stages 1 through 11. One of my favorite things are these cans of food that they have. They always have cans of sliced pineapple, tuna, I think, canned tuna, and maybe some mushrooms. Kind of looks like mushrooms. That's always fun. I think there's a couple cutscenes where you can see those scattered around on the ground. Some other crates that just have random numbers and letters on the side. I don't know if they correspond with anything. And then the texture down here for the actual base camp itself is kind of interesting. It's got this, every one of them has this little tanuki or raccoon guy in between. I don't think you actually see him textured onto anything in the game. Like there's the barrel, there's the crates, and the base camp tent itself that all this stuff sits outside of the base camp in most of the missions. And there's the texture for the horizon. There's Dilophosaur venom. Stage 1. I don't think there were any others here that were terribly uncommon. This is the cave in stage 3 with Dr. Crost's notebook that you look at, and the hay that he used as a bed, and then I believe a spoon, or this might be a can of food or something. I don't remember if that was actually sitting there or not. And I don't think there's too much else that isn't used, or not too much else that is that exciting or interesting. Here's our animated. This is how they did the heat shimmer in the cave. Oh, and then the most amazing one that would just be, not that you could actually translate this and turn it into English and then put it back into the game. It would just make no sense. But it's just amazing that everything you would need to code this game in English is right here in one line. And then everything it needs for Japanese is this gigantic sprite map of a font. It's pretty crazy. If someone were to get into the bin files and try and translate the text, you'd have to be so fluent in both coding and Japanese to make it happen. So I think that's about it for the visual files. But there is some other interesting stuff on the disks files. Oops, I gotta minimize my busted Photoshop. So here we'll have a little bit of the famous Arc Foundation theme, which is sort of like the alternate theme of the game. This is the fully orchestrated version. I'll let that play a little bit here. Swelling. Then hidden on the disc are these demo versions of these themes. So much different rendition, much simpler. These are all MIDI or synthesized versions. There's two variations. This one kind of gets the choir into the background. But still synthesized orchestration sound compared to the version found in the game. And it's really cool that these MIDI versions of the themes are on here. This is how it would have been composed, initially before it was orchestrated and arranged for an actual orchestra. And I imagine it's Hip's band, which is credited with Sweet Euphoria. The end theme of the game is actually several of the people from the sound team performing the electric guitar and the drums and stuff when it gets really rocking. Where did I put it? So, not that they're super listenable, but it's cool to still be able to hear that and find it on the disc, like these demo versions of the music before they got completed. So that's cool. I think that's about all that I have discovered on the disc. In the visual files, we'll fade out on Algo. Faithful Algo. Yeah, I think that's a look at all the stuff that isn't in the game itself, but still on the game disc. It's really cool to be able to dig that up and kind of highlight it here in this little short video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see or dig into with the game. Always happy to jump back into this. Although if it's far enough after August of 2021, it might take me a while to get back up to speed with where things are and how things worked. I've already tried to clean up some of the stuff in my translation files, and I'm like, God, how did I do this? Where did I find this left trigger animation? Anyways, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you with some more Dinosaur Hunting.